Last night, I believe something terrible happened to my brother, Evan. Currently he attends college 2 states away, and is 3 years younger than me. I have 2 brothers, Evan and Nathan. We've all kept in touch a lot, and 2 nights ago, we were group texting each other, and everything seemed pretty normal at first, like we usually do. Then after about 10 minutes, things started becoming strange. I've still got them saved here. This is all very strange to me, and rereading them alone is already making me sick to my stomach. Imagining if something wrong happens to a member of your family. It's pretty rough. If you are wondering what my name is, I'm Corey. This is the last known communication with my brother. 10:18 p.m. Evan. I'm walking home from Elisha's. Tonight was fun AF. 10:20 p.m. Me. Ha ha, have you asked her out yet? 10:21 p.m. Evan. No, but I'm going to soon. 10:22 p.m. Nathan. Oh God, I've got so many homework to do. I'll catch up with you guys later, okay? 10:24 p.m. Me. Alright. I'm just blasting some Netflix. 10:24 p.m. Nathan. Lucky bastards. 10:26 p.m. Evan. I'm walking back home. Honestly, I wish one of you guys were here with me. I hate being alone, especially in the dark. 10:28 p.m. Me. Don't worry, man, you're being a little too paranoid. 10:30 p.m. Evan. Hey, whatever, I ran into David and John just now. Thank goodness I don't have to walk this creepy walkway alone. I don't know David and John in real life, but I'm assuming they attend the same place Evan does. 10:33 p.m. Me. Ha ha, that's good news. Just stay safe, okay? Now we're at the 10:34 p.m. mark. This was when things got strange. 10:34 p.m. Evan. Okay, something feels wrong with this place. 10:34 p.m. Evan. It's not just my paranoid. David and John also look pretty freaked out. Jesus, something is wrong with this place. 10:35 p.m. Me. What do you mean? Is someone else there with you? 10:36 p.m. Evan. No, it's the creepy feeling you get. It's like we walked into something. 10:37 p.m. Me. I'm pretty sure it's nothing. Just don't think about it. Opening square bracket. I disregarded it at first, seeing as my brother is a big fan of horror movies. So, at first I thought that it was the usual thing where you see an extremely creepy movie, and then it gets stuck in your mind for the next few days. Turns out I had made the biggest mistake of my life. 10:38 p.m. Me. Hello. 10:41 p.m. Me. Evan. It took about a good 10 minutes before he finally sent a response back. 10:53 p.m. Evan. John is leading us to another path. He insisted that our usual path had an unnerving feeling, and we followed him. Right now, we're still walking. 10:59 p.m. Me. What's happening over there right now? 11:04 p.m. Evan. John hasn't said a word. David looks pretty freaked out, and honestly, so am I. 11:06 p.m. Evan suddenly sends this picture. http://imager.com/ace. I have never seen the red area in my life before and immediately got shivers throughout my body. 11:10 p.m. Me. Jesus, where the fuck are you guys? 11:13 p.m. Evan. I don't know. I originally followed John because I was honestly creeped the fuck out if I continued staying alone, but this turned out to be 10 times worse. I'm shaking right now, please stay with me. 11:15 p.m. Me. I'm right here, man, not going anywhere. Notice the time gap, 11:15 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. 11:30 p.m. Evan. Shit, I'm freaking out. This place is extremely foggy now. John and David vanished in the fog, and I can't find them. 11:31 p.m. Evan. I'm running. 11:34 p.m. Evan. Call our parents. At this point, I phoned each of my parents, but it kept going to voicemail. My heart was in my throat, and I was shaking vigorously at this point. 11:36 p.m. Me. Shit, they're not responding. Please be safe. 11:38 p.m. Evan sends this picture http://imager.com/a/uxi, and instantly I screamed. On the bottom left, it appeared to be a person standing there, but was way too dark to make out any features. 11:39 p.m. Me. Evan, what happened? 11:41 p.m. Me. Hello. 11:41 p.m. Me. Evan, text me back, please. 11:43 p.m. Me. Please. 12:09 a.m. Evan. Help me. 1:08 a.m. Evan. 0395039999. After that strange text from 1:08 a.m., he never responded back. I've been trying to get a hold of him from Facebook, Skype, Twitter, and today I've been trying to call him, but it keeps going straight to voicemail. I talked to Nathan about this, but he's just as dumbfounded and confused as I am. Something really fucked up is happening, and after I post this, I'm going to try to contact my parents again. I was tucking my little sister into bed when she spoke up. Can you sit with me until I fall asleep? Why? I asked. I thought you weren't afraid of the dark. It's not the dark, Charlotte said. It's the Twisted Lady. A chill shot down my spine. Who? The Twisted Lady, my sister repeated. She comes into my room and watches me as I sleep. Wordlessly, I lay down beside Charlotte and held her close. She fell asleep within minutes, but I stared up at the dark ceiling and tried to make sense of what I'd just heard. The Twisted Lady. I knew the name. When I was 3, I used to talk about an old-looking woman who lived in the basement and only came out at night. I described her as having white eyes and a face like a skeleton. My parents assumed it was just a recurring nightmare and got a nightlight for my room. That seemed to help, and I grew up believing the Twisted Lady had been nothing more than a construct of my imagination. But now, 15 years later, my 7-year-old sister had seen her too. I stayed with Charlotte all night, my sleep restless and uneasy. The next morning, I asked my mother if she'd told my sister about the Twisted Lady. No, of course not. I wouldn't want to scare her. Well, she was talking about her last night. She must have overheard us discussing it. Mom's lips thinned with worry. Oh dear, I hope she doesn't start having nightmares like you did. That day, I could barely concentrate in school. I kept sifting through my memories, trying to find an image of the Twisted Lady. I was unsuccessful. When I got home, I searched the internet for clues, but nothing solid came up. All too soon, night rolled around again, and I stood outside Charlotte's door, listening to her speak to Mom. The Twisted Lady will come. Honey, there's no Twisted Lady. Trust me, you're completely safe. She's real, Mama, Charlotte insisted. The desperation in her voice brought stinging tears to my eyes. She's really is. Honey, go to sleep. It's going to be okay. I promise. She kissed my sister and walked out of the room. When she saw me waiting in the hall, she gave me a reassuring smile and said, "Everything's okay." But it wasn't. Charlotte woke up that night screaming. She was in here, she wailed when I burst into her room, my parents shadowing me. The Twisted Lady was in here. I picked her up and rocked her. It's okay. You're safe. She sobbed as our parents came over and wrapped their arms around us both. We sat there hugging until Charlotte dozed off again. After tucking her back in, we went back to bed, but I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. That was just the beginning. A pattern emerged over the next 2 months. At least one night a week, Charlotte would scream out at night and insist that the Twisted Lady had been in her room. We would calm her and she would go back to sleep, only for it to happen again a night or two later. Soon, the physical effects of the nightmares became apparent. Plum-colored circles formed around Charlotte's pretty blue eyes, her face was perpetually as pale as unbaked bread dough, and she moved as if her legs were too heavy for the rest of her body. She could barely stay awake, and we were all worried that she'd only get worse. I still wasn't sure if I believed whether or not the Twisted Lady was real. I'm not exactly a skeptic, but I'd rather rule out all rational explanations before believing there are paranormal forces at work. Also, I was afraid. I couldn't remember the Twisted Lady herself, but I did remember the terror she'd planted in me, a terror that seemed never to have left after all. One night, on a weekend my parents were out of town, I came up with a plan. What if I could get physical proof that the Twisted Lady wasn't real? If Charlotte saw it for herself, maybe the nightmares would stop. If she knew the Twisted Lady wasn't real, she wouldn't have to be afraid. I set up my father's camcorder in Charlotte's room, explaining to her that if the Twisted Lady came by, the device would pick up on her. I then took my baby sister into my own room, and we crawled into my bed and fell asleep. I woke up extremely early, just as the sun began to bleed through the hazy lavender sky. Rubbing my eyes, I stumbled into the hall, and my heart flew into my throat when I saw that Charlotte's door was open. I was pretty sure I'd closed it the night before. Moving as quietly as I could in my slightly panicked state, I grabbed the camcorder and went downstairs to the living room, where I uploaded the video onto my laptop and sat on the couch to watch. The first few hours of footage showed nothing, which only added to my mounting dread. At around midnight, something could be heard shuffling awkwardly up the stairs. Scuff, scuff, thud. Scuff, scuff, thud. By the time it reached the hall, I was shaking, and had nearly bitten through my bottom lip. Very, very, very slowly, Charlotte's door squealed open, and the most horrifying thing I have ever seen entered my sister's room. It was a naked woman. A naked woman who looked like nearly every bone in her body had been broken and then reset by the most incompetent of doctors. She crab-walked on limbs bent sharply at bizarre angles, and her chest caved in as if she were missing whole sections of her ribs. Her spine and shoulders curved inward, forming a camel-like bump on her back and pushing her head down between her breasts. And the sounds she was making. Oh God. It was a deep, raspy, guttural noise caught somewhere between a moan and gasp, and it made me want to claw my own ears off. She shuffled right up to Charlotte's bed and just sat there for a while, as if not sure what to do next. Then, slowly, she began to turn her head, neck cracking loudly with the movement. Her long, stringy hair fell back as she looked right at the camera. Her face, to put it mildly, was grotesque. The skin was so taut I could see every contour of her skull and facial bones, and her eyes were rolled all the way back in her head. She had no visible lips, and her nose seemed to be caving in. I slammed the laptop shut and ran back upstairs. After searching Charlotte's room and finding no sign of the monstrosity I'd just seen, I grabbed my still sleeping sister and fled to my best friend's house. I was in shock and couldn't quite process what had happened. It was 3 years ago. Charlotte hasn't seen a Twisted Lady in a long time, and I never showed my parents the footage. In fact, I deleted it. I didn't want what I'd seen to be real. But now I'm not so sure I made the right choice. You see, a month ago, my father was doing some work in the basement when he discovered that some bricks in the wall had come loose. Further investigation revealed a makeshift grave where a broken human skeleton lay. The police haven't been able to identify the victim. But I know she's connected to the Twisted Lady. Since the discovery, past owners of the house have come forward and admitted to seeing her too. None of them imagined she was a possible murder victim, then again, neither did my family. Looking back, I believe the twisted lady only wanted help. She wanted to tell someone who she was and what had happened to her, but was unable to convey any of this. If I hadn't been such a coward and gotten rid of the footage, maybe her bones could have been discovered sooner. I hope they catch her killers of the sick bastard can be brought to justice. I hope once he's brought to justice, the twisted lady can finally be at peace.